We've got an interview with the Danny Rodriguez. A&B Common Mark.
I was wandering like a ghost alone.
We are headed to Woodstock, New York. Finish up a record that I'm making with David Barron and Wesley Schultz. Got to get 5 songs in 10 days.
Waiting on my resurrection.
I first met Wes. We sat next to each other at Red Rocks, and we just kind of became instant friends.
The immediate feeling I had meeting Dan was that we were old friends that I'd never met. He had this quiet confidence about him. When I found out he was going off on his own, I really admired that, and I immediately wanted to somehow help if I could, because I really believed in the music.
I nodded my head, couldn't hear a word. I was miles away, I was a passenger. Stopped for coffee and gasoline. Yeah, they're selling God on the TV screens. All my worry and all this pain. Oh, it's a good end then when it's all the same. And all my sin, all my doubts. Oh, it's a good end then when the sun goes down. And all my glory and all my pride. Oh, it's a good end then come the day you die.
I think to produce someone's record it's like an honor to be asked that someone would trust you with what's most sacred to them.
I was kind of becoming more and more interested in doing stuff more live and more kind of raw, and that was sort of Wes's ethos as well.
What song were you talking about starting with? Because I remember, what did we work on when we were at my house for the pre-production stuff?
Right.
Because we got a head start on some of them.
The Yield?
Yeah. We had started that a little bit, right? Before.
I think we kind of workshopped it.
Yeah.
But if we could just get going on I feel good about one, I always feel like that moves it downhill pretty good.
Yeah.
And then we can go searching.
I kind of agree with Wes. Maybe we start with one of these right now and just get some momentum going.
Yeah. This is what I was doing originally.
But today doesn't fall on memory. Today falls like a star. Spelled out for tell you about it, don't ever let them tell you.
It's a really cool part.
But
We could use it
that
somewhere.
part could be somewhere.
Yeah, it doesn't have to happen every time, but
yeah.
It's such a cool wrinkle to throw in. It's a great part, yeah. And I like those lyrics too. I think a lot of this record, what's special to me about it is he's not doing everything he might normally do. As a producer, it's really a joy to see somebody have the courage to try something else, even if it's out of their comfort zone. Instead of going dun 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 dun, that was one wrinkle. The other one could be like, "There's a fall on a memory." You know what I mean?
I love that section, and I think it works there. But I also wonder if how the first part feels like a verse.
Yep.
If we save that, could we just do 2 down verses so you don't have that same leap?
Yeah.
I think the pre-chorus is so strong that I would try to make it work if we could.
I would love that.
Yeah.
It just feels so good to sing.
It's such a great part of the song.
And then I think you use this cool alternate, but that doesn't fall like a memory later. So I don't think you need to do this thing again, right?
Doesn't fall on a memory.
Yeah.
Today fall like a star.
So this song came together fast. It's crazy.
Every time I pick up my guitar, I play this.
It's a good sign.
This one comes out of Boiceville Studios, New Haven M49 #1. So I don't know if you know the history of Berrysville Studios, but Albert Grossman opened this studio called Berrysville, and up on top of a mountain in Woodstock. And Isley Brothers did their records there, Dave Matthews, King Crimson. Can't even imagine how many records were done there. So this mic was probably used on a lot of crazy, incredible hits, and now we'll use it on Daniel Rodriguez's hit.
I said I'd love to do this, and I think the only place to do it is in the Catskills. It's with David Barron. It's this like magical little studio. It's called Sun Mountain Studios. It's where we made our last record, Bright Side, and part of the one before that on 3. He's from Connecticut originally, and so it's like the East Coast. I think it would remind him somehow of himself, which is what you're trying to rediscover, I think, when you leave a group.
What do you guys think? I liked it.
Yeah.
2019, I got an email from the Lumineers asking me if I would open up for them. And I was just like, holy smokes, heck yeah, I'll do that. So we went out, we played about 22 something shows on their Bright Side World Tour. Gregory Isaacoff took this video of tour buses, and then at the end of the video, there's our little tiny Sprinter van with a trailer. Man, that was us chasing the world tour around. And it was like 2 months of a lot of driving and a lot of shows. We made the best of it.
A cap and gown, I was sitting down. You delivered me your speeches.
On that tour, Wes and I kind of discussed further the idea of making this record. It wasn't until the very last day we were hugging each other goodbye, and I was like, hey, what about that record? He was like, yeah, let's talk. And so we talked.
You handed me the letter like receiving a diploma. Never even read it, but I knew that it was over. Walk me down the aisle, now I'm so well educated. Graduation day, goodbye.
Yeah, Wes is sort of this phenom. He's an incredible songwriter. No, really the whole band, the Lumineers, they do a really great job making a stadium feel small. And then he got me up towards the end of their set when the crowd was just so amped. And we did this Tom Petty song called Walls. It was just one of the peak moments of my musical career. Having left a band that had some pretty good success, it was a scary time for me. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen, but just to feel that support, it just meant the world to me. First session was winter of 23, second session was winter of 24. So there was a lot of time in between both sessions for writing and refining what we had. You know, walking into the door the first time is all new territory, and it takes a little while for you to like slip into a nice rhythm. That first section of recording, half of that time was spent trying to like chisel out this one song, Dig a Lover's Grave. It was a bit maddening because it was like, man, I'm spending all this time and money on these sessions, and like, we've only got one song down so far.
It was actually Dig a Lover's Grave, and we were trying to get this part over and over and over. He just went with it.
I'm like losing trust in them and myself, and then, you know, fast forward on like the 4th or 5th day, it was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
I'm glad he did, because I think he was starting to lose faith. And then that song became like a real cornerstone of the record.
I was like, all right, I see what you guys are up to. Okay, yeah, we're making something special. I trust these guys. You know, you're not settling for less, and you're trying to yank the best possible outcome out of the situation.
I think it's one of the flat out best songs I've ever been a part of. So I'm super proud of that.
Singing like you mean it, you were happy just to feel it, and the audience was gone. See inside the shadows, you were staring down the barrel. It's a long way down to fall. Singing like you mean it, you were happy just to feel it, and the audience was gone.
It was quite charming to work on the record in Woodstock just because of the history there. Bob Dylan and the band and Jimi Hendrix, everything that came out of Woodstock.
Like in the Rockies, we have real jagged mountains, and those are like adolescent, kind of like. The Catskills are so old and wise and kind of like calm, and there's just a wisdom in those mountains. There's an energy. There's something out there that I think is really inspirational.
Recording there and writing there, it added that much more excitement to the process and that much more of a magic twist to it. What's up, dudes? Well, I still feel so akin to the woods of the Northeast where I grew up. That had a real nice charm to it as well, like very inspiring.
I think sometimes the innocence of feeling your way through early takes is where the magic really happens. And then once you have it down and it's memorized, you're not with the music the same way. And there's not this element of searching and innocence and danger that you get when the whole thing isn't committed to memory and comfortable.
I like it vocal. Especially his range like that. You can always do it first with vocal, then later with instruments.
I like that rawness. It's in our recordings. And so we tried to do that with Dan, and he was really open to it. You hear all this, all that like all over.
I think
sounds
that's
beautiful,
I
as
think
opposed
that's a
to
great idea.
yeah, that's great, man.
American dreams, cottonwood trees, some grow tall, some fall, some dam the streams, deep roots and shooting stars, the consolation of a broken heart.
You know, Wes, he's got such a keen ear. If he hears something, he like really wants to hear it. He's like, no, I think there's some things inside of you that you're not facing or that you haven't talked about. He ended up being kind of like almost like a therapist or a psychologist, and he was just kind of yanking things out of me.
Came here to make a record. the great Daniel Rodriguez. It's a beautiful day out. Dan has a lot of depth, and sometimes I think he's scared of his own depths. So I felt like I was trying to make a safe space to say, hey man, if you excavate this a little bit and you show people what's in there, I swear that will be comforting. As lonely and scary as that sounds, our darkest impulses pronounced to the world, you can exorcise some demons, and in the process, I think us listening back to it get something out of that too.
I heard a voice that rose like smoke above the chatter. Across the room like I was sailing across the sea to some paradise just to see your eyes. I walked so far into the night, I saw tomorrow. I heard the sounds of this old town fast asleep, and I rowed my boat into the great unknown. I would give everything, I don't need anything. You can have everything, I don't need anything.
I just keep telling Dan, be patient, because what you already have is the hardest part. And I wanted him to go a little darker because I felt like that's authentic to who he is. It's really interesting.
Within this songwriting process, it was like, okay, yeah, those things that maybe you sort of tucked under the rug, like let's bring those out and talk about them.
It was really cool to see Dan re-energized by all this, and you know, he has this like really resilient spirit. It's something I like being around. Like, he's kind of undeniable. I think we made a record that we all can grow old with.
You can have everything, I don't need anything but you. Singing like you mean it, you were happy just to feel it, and the audience was gone. See inside the shadows, you were staring down the barrel. It's a long way down to fall. Singing like you mean it, you were happy just to feel it, and the audience was gone.
That was awesome.
Holy shit. That's such a track, man.
I love to destroy people.